Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Abdulsaq Noor Adan. I started introduction about Waqf and Zakat. The rest we will continue, Brother Yusuf. Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam to fulfill the eligibility of every Muslim. The word Zakat is taken from Arabic word, means zakat, and it can be divided into 3 parts: linguistically, legally, and theologically. Linguistically, of zakat means cleanness, mercy, grossness, and pleasing to be brought off. Legally, of zakat means the transfer of ownership of special wealth to individuals under specific conditions. Theologically means the wealth of physical and spiritual immunities. The Quran mentioned 30 times of the word zakat, and it is believed to command Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, Surah Al-Tawbah, innamal fuqara wal masakin wal amilin alayha ila akhirah. 8 categories of beneficiaries who are eligible to receive zakat fund: the poor, the needy, and the zakat administrator or amir zakat. Those who are here to attending Islam, including low income. But the fourth is slaves, and the third is those who have debt due to the fulfillment of real needs. And Allah say, fi sabilillah and ibn sabil. And the principles of zakat is individual right ownership, means the transfer of ownership of special wealth to individuals under specific conditions. The second is the valuation of asset of current and market value, means to clarify and valuable and to reliable value of net asset of individuals or companies. And the third is yearly basis. Zakat only pay once a year. And the second and the fifth is full disclosure. Full disclosure is you must disclose pay true and fair. The sixth one is ability to pay. If someone for example have gold 85 gram, you should pay zakat. That is the end of zakat.
Anyone on less than $1.90 per day is living in extreme poverty, unable to afford basic food, clothing, healthcare, and shelter. In the 1980s, the majority of people in both of these countries were living in extreme poverty. But now the share of the poorest has fallen to 21% in India and less than 2% in China. Increased productivity in farms and a mass migration from poor rural areas to the booming cities enabled many Chinese and Indian people to better their lives. Millions of poor people in sub-Saharan Africa live far below the World Bank's threshold of $1.90 per day. That means it'll be harder to pull them out of extreme poverty.
Waqf is deduction of the purpose of other ones who are voluntarily charitable purpose. And Waqf is voluntarily act, and Waqf is a public purpose. And the last is the role of Waqf in social country. The role of Waqf contributing to the social, economical, and the wealth of the country in order to contribute some poor people for voluntary. That is the end of mine. We will start the rest of the video. Brother Yusuf, welcome to continue.
The world is full of inequality. There's racial inequality, gender inequality, health, education, political inequality, and of course, economic inequality. Some people are rich and some people are poor, and it can seem pretty impossible to fix.
We know about Zakat and Waqf. Let's see the implications on our society development, on our economy development, and on our daily basis changes.
Zakat and Waqf are among the mechanisms that can reduce such inequality.
When you pay Zakat and Waqf, obviously through the studies it has been proved that it making changes to the society level of poverty. If someone has $10,000 and the other one has only $1 income, so here is no justice. If someone who has $10,000, he is paying a proportion of his salary to poor people, so here is a bit more balanced between them. The gap is reduced. So to the studies it has been proved that we cannot eliminate the poverty, but the gap can be reduced. So when you reduce the gap, so here is already the development and is like equity, and you get the justice in your society. So let's see the implication of Zakat and Waqf differently, how they are being disclosed into different annual reports of 4 selected banks, which are 3 in Malaysia and 1 is Bahrain. Let's see the comparisons here. We reviewed 4 different annual reports of Bank Muamalat, Bank Islam, Maybank, and Bank Islam in Bahrain. There is not much differences in their disclosure of Zakat and Waqf. Basically, their Zakat is reflected in their financial statement for all 4 banks. But here is a difference on Sharia compliance principles they are using. Malaysia using a different method to Bahrain banks. The Bahrain bank using OFI FAS 9 to get guided and disclose the Zakat for their business. But Malaysia is using a different term for that. Islamic banks in Malaysia using manual banking Zakat management, which is issued by Department of Zakat, Waqf and Hajj. So here is a different method of using the compliance to Sharia principles. Generally, those Islamic banks, they contribute their zakats to needy people, which they call asnaf. There is also to schools, mosques, and everywhere. There is a special case to Islam Bank, which they give their zakat, but they get it back or will be refunded. In here, they act as an agent to give and distribute those zakats, which are refunded, to give to needy people. So here they act as an agent, but the other banks, they are not doing such. So here is like different kinds of zakat to whom is eligible, and everyone is given. And here also Waqf programs also being initiated by banks here. For some, they are giving Waqf as a one to mosque and everywhere. And also there is some projects like spending 5 million on those projects by Islam Bank. And also here is some projects with Bank Muamalat. So altogether they have their Waqf contributions to the society, and it's helping that to develop the economy of the country. As they disclose in their annual reports, they say, yeah, we contribute zakat and waqf towards the well-being of poor people, development of country.
As your personal view, how your perception is changed toward zakat and waqf after this study.
It's a nice question to be asked. Before this study, I was thinking zakat is just obligation to pay zakat. Now I think it's purification. It's going beyond purification of your wealth. It's going to contribute to society. You're going to give your extra money to people that can use it and use for your daily life, so they can survive beside you and make their life more beautiful. To think about waqf as a voluntary act, it's going to develop the economy of the country. Also, you're going to contribute your asset which is enacted in your hand. Even if it's not enacted in your hand, so give it to experts that can maximize it from it and generate cash for the well-being of those people or Okay, well, Abdurazak, you execute me. Now is the time to execute you. Have you ever paid zakat? And if you paid, it's how much?
The zakat has two types, zakatul mal and zakatul fitr. I pay only zakatul fitr. I didn't pay any zakatul mal.
Have you ever paid zakat?
Yes, in case of zakat al-fitr, my father paid for me. But in other type of zakah, I didn't work, so I don't have the income to let me to pay for zakah. So I didn't pay for the zakah fund. But the zakat al-fitr, yes, I paid every year. But the payment was made by my.
In my country, we are hearing few types of waqf, but one which is more famous or well known among the people. That's most of the people when they have like plenty, like a lot of land or that, so they are giving a piece of land for as a waqf, and that then the land is used by the people who are that people are giving them. They build schools, mosques, or some like some thing to be used as a public that public are using, like mosque or masjid or madrasa or school.
حافظ تعال.
La salam.
They have like their
Linguistically, the zakat means
like organized for. Oh, you start now.
1, 2, 3.